Do we have audio? We have audio. Okay, we're good. May not be the best audio, but it is audio. Let's switch to this and see if it works as well. Now we have the audio from here. That's better. Hey, Kevin. Hey, look at that. All right, we have all the light now. Ah, why so serious? Indeed. Not serious, actually. Today is definitely not a serious day. Ugh, so much of the serious stuff is now in the past. The Batmobile. Yeah. So, can I put this so that it isn't so in everybody's face? Let's see about putting it here. Yeah, that's better. Good lighting. All right. So why am I not in the Smithy today? Well, because as you can see, my stream does not have any of its theming. Um, I got back Wednesday night and for my father's funeral. There was a lot of um, drama along the way that um, we could have perhaps done without, but it all turned out for the best as far as laying my father to rest. And since I got back late Thursday, I haven't been doing anything other than trying to find a job or preparing for the interviews for said job hunt. So I kind of completely forgot that I had on my slate of things to do getting moved over to OBS instead of this Streamlabs, which set up so easily and then completely lost its mind. So I'm not finding any value in using this tool, but I didn't get around to setting up OBS. So that'll be something I do this week. In the meantime, getting out there to get everything up and running in the Smithy, as I haven't been out there in a couple of weeks, or is it a few weeks now? Um, or has it been a month? I did get out there one time, I think, since I came back from my father's, once or twice since I came back from my father's, the first go around. Anyway, the the fact is, I haven't been out there really to see what the state of things are out there. And 8 o'clock came real fast this morning as I was out taking care of chickens. Actually, my wife was doing all the taking care of. I was cleaning up the mess from the geese. And so rather than try to get out there and figure it all out, I figured I'd come in here and share my thoughts from the past week and finish building the Batmobile. As you can see, I found some quiet time to sit down and continue working on it. Got a bunch of it done. You can see that this Batmobile has, let's see if I can get the right angle here, um, a bat scanner, the start button. It's got a compass over here, which I got the sticker on wrong. It has a bat ram. Let's see, can you see the bat ram part? No. There's where the bat ram is, right there. Buttons for these things, obviously. And let's see, it has the uh, detectoscope. Uh, we'll move to the back here. It's got a couple of bat chutes, it's got some nail spreaders. And of course, it has the mobile crime computer. We'll switch around to the front. We're not quite done. And up here, we have some bat ray, a couple of bat rays. Honestly, don't remember a bat ray in um, the old TV series. Hey, that Jack Pines is live. It's good to know that. So we're going to go ahead and set this over here like it shows me in my book. We're going to go ahead and pull back out again. Hey now. There we go. All right, so that would be the whole view. It'd be in my way. So we're gonna go ahead and just put it over here. Yeah, like that. And like that. And yes, we're still dealing with the black mat. And sadly, my cat got on here and stole my well, first off, clawed up my mat. And this was just this morning. And stole my little finger for the camera. So I've got something ad hoc in there right now. If it doesn't work, I'll go get a new finger and we'll go from there. Little freaking cats, right? Gotta love them. But we only have 2 bags left on this build. And then I got more Batman stuff to build. Yeah, but first, let's finish one before we start another. That's the best order of operations. All right, set this here, set that there. Do my little bit of sorting so I can keep track of what's what, find things easiest. I don't, I don't know if you can tell from what I do here, but I try to color coordinate in such a way as to separate things. Might seem strange to some, but helps me eyeball real quick what's what. So I guess I should say color separate, not color coordinate. And, these, those. Through that over there. One Z. Oh, that's an interesting piece. as is that. Here's some pieces I've never seen in other builds before, so they may be common, but not ones I've seen. And that's everything. And then we go into the little bag. So my father's passing happened at a couple of odd times, all things considered. Um, the first odd thing, timing wise, was that it happened on the same day as his anniversary with his um, widow, now widow. My father is a widower, by the way. He's had three wives total, and of course, um, not recognizing the first one makes plenty of sense. That was not an separation, amicable separation. That was my mother. There, there's plenty to be said about that. That I'm not going to take up because none of it would be beneficial to anybody. Um, and then there's his second wife, and he's a widower. She was a marvelous person who I didn't give a lot of grace to because I didn't know at the time she had nothing to do with making a mess of my family's situation. That can go right back to my mother. Um, and then sadly, she got MS after my baby sister was born. And, it took years, but she declined. And it was a hard time for my father, for those of us who uh, loved her, her daughter, for those of us who came to love her, um, and of course, the other person who loved her, my father. Um, but I presume in the end, he was lonely due to the fact that she was bedridden, unable to do anything for herself. And, the human companionship was probably lacking. Sadly, about 6 months after she was buried, he met his now widow. So, needless to say, there was some hard feelings amongst the family about that. And that's where the drama came from, a good chunk of it. Um, that doesn't go there, that goes there. See, what else did I move in a weird place? That goes there. These can go there. These go here. Ah, morning, Alexis. So, um, it was odd to just round that back out. It was odd timing that he passed on the same day as their anniversary. But more consequential to me and my siblings was that that was the Monday of the week which would end in Yom Kippur. My father was Jewish. Now he wasn't someone to, you know, um, really see the faith as, a major component of his being. Um, Rather, it was something he recognized as, part of his heritage, and he would celebrate the high holy days with, of his own accord, and then with his kids. But I don't think his now widow really saw any of that, as she, when I was visiting to spend time with my dad before he passed, um, asked him if he'd like to have a priest. And his response was humorous to me. It was, well, no, but if you want to bring in a rabbi, that would be fine. So she had no idea how to reach a rabbi. She actually went to the temple. The temple isn't something populated like a church is. It's also not left open because vandalism occurs, not necessarily by um, the military folks in the area, but by out of town visitors in the you know, in the tourism industry that the area lives by. Um, and there's a police car out front, and there's a sign in the window that warns people that they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, blah, blah, blah. Um, and so she was uh, taken aback by that. So I did the work to find the rabbi and invite a conversation, however that may take place. And he came to our home, my father's home. And they had a great conversation. Um, but uh, suffice that to say that some more drama came out of that. Concerns about how we thought he wanted to be buried versus how he was getting buried, based on the conversation had with the rabbi. But it all worked out. Um, and but I can't. But let's leave it to the fact that until it worked out, there was a lot going on there. So this is where the second interesting date came into the picture. As I said, he passed on the Monday before the week ending in Rosh Hashanah. I mean, Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a very, very interesting holiday for me. It is the one tradition in Judaism I really can get behind. Because unlike so many other traditions, one does not ask forgiveness from their God. One does not seek salvation through, belief. Forgiveness of their sins, that is. And the recognition is that the sins, all of them, and this is one of those things that makes me think Judaism is wiser than most any other tradition out there. Um, I mean, they still have their tribalism. They still have their nastiness regarding, things like genocide in the document. I'm not talking about in the people today, but we're not going to try and talk about that. Um, I'm not trying to level allegations to get people pissed at me. What I am trying to say is the document has its flaws, but one of the beauties is how much the traditions recognize that maybe God isn't really trying to be active in his people's lives at this point. Instead, he set out the laws. They set out the laws. We can't really say he. Um, and it is ours to follow those laws. And when we fail, as we will, we recognize that who we failed was our fellow man, our planet, our the you know the that which we've been told to be good stewards of. What am I doing wrong here? One short, long, long. Okay, I got that much right. This doesn't make sense on this side. That's got a short, but it ends on a stub. Oh, we're laying stuff on top of that now. Okay, got it. Um, and so when you sin, you're sinning against the world. And maybe, just maybe, you should really consider that and make amends, not just be some petty, um, I'm sorry, can you forgive me? Baloney that is common amongst those who are repeat offenders and don't actually show any remorse. They just don't like being treated or ostracized or something. No, you're supposed to actually spend time recognizing your sins and finding ways to make amends for them. And those sins can be against ourselves. And I'm not trying to push a faith or anything. I'm talking about a philosophy I can get behind. This is just you know, idle thoughts at the moment while I build a Batmobile. Um, but what ended up happening is because of all the tension, ooh, make back pedal here, make sure I wasn't supposed to do that twice. I am supposed to do that twice. All right, let's do it a second time. Here's that one. Because of the timing and because of the turmoil going on, there was a lot of hard hearts going, being developed. So, what does one do about that when you, well, at the time we thought, well, if my father's tradition isn't going to be honored by his widow, maybe we kids can do something to honor his tradition. And the least we could do, because it was also the most we could think of, was to make sure we men who might be serving as pallbearers of the family side that actually recognized his faith um, could wear yarmulkes. So where the heck do you get yarmulkes? We didn't have a clue. So what we did is we went to that same temple that was, typically empty, not really actually realizing that typically empty is, well, typical. Um, and we were going to ask, where can one go and get yarmulkes? Because somebody there should know, right? um, well, like I said, there was nobody there. Well, with the exception of somebody who was climbing into their SUV to leave the property as we pulled in. My sister and I jump out of the car, start walking towards the building, like directly midway between the front entrance and the back entrance we assume she came out of, the person that was getting in the SUV, because her SUV was right there by the back entrance. Um, and she sees us and she gets out of her SUV and greets us and asks if she can help us. And we start laying out what's going on and what we're hoping to accomplish. And she's like, well, that's so funny. I had already been here and left and turned around to come back because I'd forgotten my sweater. And she was climbing back into her vehicle to leave a second time when we showed up. And we explained, we're not actually Jewish. We don't know a whole lot about the faith, but it was my father's faith. And, we'd like to show him respect um, by doing this least little bit. And she's like, oh, that's absolutely no problem. And I understand exactly where you're coming from because I am converted to Judaism from Christianity. She had met her now husband, and uh, she had realized she may not keep him, but she's definitely keeping the faith. And that was incredible to us because it's so melded where, we come from versus where she came from so she could understand us. Um, and she took us in and gave us yarmulkes from a basket they keep at the front door for when visitors come by. Because there are out-of-towners often there, right? As I said, it is, after all, a tourist town as well as a military town. Beautiful beaches if you've never been. Um, I think the water's too warm and the jellyfish always sting me, but I'm just unlucky and I don't do well with sunlight, so I'm where I need to be. But that being said, um, that's, am I supposed to? Oh, that's why there's supposed to be stickers on those. Okay, let's do that real quick. 4 and 14. Okay. I have to do that twice. Great. Speakers, the best part of Legos. So we took the yarmulkes, but before we left, she invited us to come back for Yom Kippur service. She wouldn't be able to be there, but her husband and her in-laws would be there, and of course, the rabbi we had met. Ah, nope. Let's get that back off there again. So we thought about it and we were like, you know what? That is another thing we can do pretty easily is go to this service. I knew that that I valued the concept of Yom Kippur from the fact that I have a dear friend here in the area that I actually had when I lived in Orlando area that moved here to work for Amazon, and he always talked about Yom Kippur. And like I said, I'd never been one to um, follow the traditions. I knew I couldn't be a Christian or a Jew without, basically um, judging my parents' chosen faith. And so I wasn't going to do either. After a while, I basically gave up on picking a faith. Go from this side and put this. But I loved the idea of Yom Kippur, the idea that, because I've always said, as you guys can guess by the challenge at the end of the live streams, um, you know, we have one life to live, and in that life, you've got uh, every tradition telling you to be good stewards, take care of the place you live in. And my take was, well, that means let's not only just not ruin the earth or kill off species if we can, but also for the humans who are here, right? Try to make it as close to a as close to a heaven as we can make it while we're here. Stop worrying about a heaven in the afterlife. Let's start doing something about making it heaven here on earth. And I'm pretty sure that's somewhere around the same thing as what some of the traditions say is supposed to happen when the Messiah comes back. So why not um, aim for the moon and, land somewhere amongst the stars? That's my philosophy there, and it just lined up that forgiveness is, asking. I'm trying to make amends is part of doing that, right? Asking for forgiveness is secondary to actually trying to make amends. So we go to the service, and I had in my mind that it would just be learning more about the tradition is an honor, a continuing honor of my father. I didn't realize that by the time we were done, I'd be walking out to my sisters and saying that felt like it was speaking directly at me. That it means I kind of have to go to the reception. We were all talking about skipping, and not necessarily to forgive my father's widow, but to continue to pay respects to my father and be able to look myself in the mirror and say, I did what was right, not what I'm supposed to, but what was right, and therefore I can forgive myself that hardness in my heart that had been building throughout this encounter. So we did just that, and honestly, it was there was a lot of things that were lovely about it. My uh, father's widow did some things that we didn't approve of, um, but when it's all said and done, um, I don't think she did anything to be malicious, but maybe just to make herself feel like she did the right thing, even if that right thing wasn't necessarily aligned with my dad's traditions. Hey, Jurgen, welcome to my live stream that isn't blacksmithing. For those who have been wondering why I'm not blacksmithing, I said at the top of the hour, the reason is simple. I got home late. Well, I got home midday Wednesday, but to me it felt late because I was up at my time here like 1:40 in the morning. So I was just flagging by the time I got home because I can't sleep on an airplane. I dozed a little bit. And since then, all I've been doing is my full-time job of trying to find new work or being prepped for interviews that are trying to get stacked. I'm trying to get stacked up. Uh, an interview process is always a very painful thing for me. So um, that's what I've been up to, and didn't have time to remember that I needed to fix my Mac so that I could actually do live streams with my themes and so forth. That'll be something I can work on this week. So I'm sitting here and just reflecting on what ended up happening while I was away and the personal growth I had in the process. Um, and it's not just personal growth of my own, but I'm pretty sure that my sisters felt the same way. Um, but and it all boils down to there's a tradition that has gotten lost in the Abrahamic traditions other than Judaism that I feel shouldn't have been, because it is beautiful. And just because there's a savior out there, I think the savior, the Messiah, whatever you want to call him, took and gave people permission to stop caring about each other, um, that in a way, I don't mean to say that it's um, by basically saying as long as you believe in me, you can break all the rules you want. You can sin all you want. It's a perversion, I think, of what he was trying to teach. Um, yeah, the day starts here for me typically around 5:30, 6 o'clock. So, hey, Rob. But the perversion is that people don't think that they actually have to love thy neighbor. They don't actually have to turn the other cheek. All they have to do is believe in their Savior. And that's sad to me because what Yom Kippur is to say when you sin, you're not sinning against uh, God. You're sinning against all that represents God. So if you want forgiveness from God, go seek to make amends to all those that represent God. That means your fellow human beings. You got to make amends. You can't just believe in God and it's all okay. You have to make amends. If you harm a species of animals, you got to make amends. If you harm the planet, you got to make amends. If you harm yourself, you have to make amends. That's how you become cleaned of your sins, is realize that you'd made them and try to do something about those mistakes you've made. And so that really resonated with me a long time ago. But then to sit in that temple, sorry, they don't call it chapel. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm not Jewish. I don't mean any disrespect. That's for sure. Um, but to sit in there and go through the ceremony and read all the words that were being spoken, sometimes in Hebrew, sometimes in English, and it was as if they was speaking directly to us. So we had to do the right thing by our father, by his uh, by his uh, widower, widow. Even if we felt she did wrong, we had to do the right thing. And by doing the right thing, we could then forgive ourselves for holding any kind of negativity towards her, which allowed us to actually let go of said negativity. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but it did to us. And we came away from it, sad for losing our father, but a little more enlightened maybe, um, a little more understanding, um, and able to spend the rest of our time just celebrating our father rather than lamenting, you know, the way we felt um, in the final handling of his affairs. So that was that. That was how that all turned out. It was weird timing that he should pass just before Yom Kippur, but it allowed us to be better than we would have been otherwise, I think. Let's try that again. Stickers, am I right? A loathsome part of any kind of model build. Now, I just noticed that one of the stickers here is a license plate, and that is humorous as all get out. Very 60s, slapstick humor from Batman, right? That the Batmobile would have a license plate, as in somebody out there knows who this thing is registered to. Good thing I haven't trimmed my nails yet this week. Oh, everybody should know I couldn't have shown this off in the Smithy because nobody's going to catch me wearing flip-flops or sandals in the Smithy. But I had freaking dragon toes going on when I went down to see to be with my family and so forth. So, and I didn't bring any toenail clippers. I really need to start including toenail clippers in my travel gear because it's the second time now I've traveled and had dragon claws. This time, though, the solution was very straightforward. Go get a freaking pedicure. And now I have pretty princess toes. That is exactly the color I selected. Just a light pink, real light pink color, almost like skin tone color. But I now have pretty princess toes. I am doing great. The the fact is, as you've heard part of at least, um, everything turned out beautifully. Um, we had no idea what was really involved in a full military honors, um, funeral. And then on top of that, somebody had arranged so that there was a an honor guard of motorcycle group honor guard, and so that was cool. There was a bunch of them that came riding this uh, Indians and various other bikes, but I saw several Indians, including an Indian just like mine, except it had been converted into a trike. Fat Jack with pretty princess toes. That's right, Kevin. All right. That is that. And then this goes on. I was wondering if we were going to have tail fins. It had to happen. And there they are. That is so wild. Goes there. Come on. Get on there. There we go. There we go. Wait a minute. That doesn't seem. Oh, there we go. There we go. How cool is that? Oh my goodness. There's one side. And now I see what they did here. You guys will see in a second. Bring it over. They put the fins on a pivot. Now, I don't think that is a core component of the 60s Batmobile, but I could be wrong. Or it could be that its whole purpose is to sit out here at an angle. Let's see, turn the page. Yep, that's what it's for. Sit out at an angle. That is fun. That is fun. Turn it around. Oop, I keep popping the wheel wells. There it is at the angle. Very fun. Set this over here because now I think they want me to do something on the front. They do. They want one of these flats and one of these here and one of these here. Time to put the closest thing to a hood ornament on it here. Right there. Oh, then we got this really weird piece that we put on here. One of these. Couple of these. So I'm back into the swing of life. Life goes on. Um, there was some beautiful things that happened right at the end of my father's life. Um, and I'll share one of his last good day, right? It is very common, right, for folks who are nearing their end to rally the day before they pass. This was true for my father as well. And the whole time, my father was my father. He didn't, he became he became confused. He became anxious. There were things that happened, very things that are very understandable. But in the end, my father was my father, and it was wonderful because examples of how that can be um, made understandable by others. Um, while I had been visiting him, he asked me um, about VR. My father has always been a gearhead. He would be tearing apart cars and hot rodding them. He and I would go to the on-base uh, shop where you would be able to work on your cars. Um, and, we'd work on our own cars. I learned to work on my own cars from my father. I learned to have my mechanical abilities from my father. And that just goes on like that. Yep, yep, yep. And, he was a sheet metalist for the first part of his career in the Air Force, and then he got tired of that. I mean, he'd gotten up high enough in that he was running the department. Um, this one like that, and so he wanted to do something different. He ended up cross training of still being. He had, the computer stuff had started really springing onto the scene, and I remember him bringing home a Hewlett Packard. Trying to remember which. It was one of the first um, calculators. I think it even might have called itself a pocket calculator, even though the thing was, an inch and a half, inch and a half thick, inch and a quarter, somewhere somewhere between an inch and an inch and a half thick. It was, about this wide, about this long. So I would say 5.5 inches by 3.5 inches. It was a brick. So pocket calculator is pushing it. Ah, hey Rob. Yes, it's the bat anvil. Yeah, I was telling everybody, Rob, that with getting back so late on Wednesday, late for me anyway, um, uh, there was nothing getting done Wednesday, and then I went right to work Thursday and Friday, just trying to get interviews and prepping for interviews. And so I didn't get around to remembering that my whole rig here is porked up for live streams. You can see there's none of my branding. Scenes and transitions just aren't there. And so I'm going to scrap the Streamlabs, even though it supposedly was going to set everything up easier. And I'm going to switch over to OBS. back to what I was using originally. And by doing so, that's it. I knew there was another step here. By doing so, um, I should get everything back I want to and be back in business. But yeah, um, so I decided when I was getting ready to go out today, wait a minute, I don't have everything in order, um, and didn't have the time to get it in order. So instead, I'll just do another chatting about my father live stream. Um, I know it's getting old probably, but it's therapeutic for me. All right, and this snaps in there. Yep. That doesn't do a whole lot. I'm not sure why they did it that way, except that it connects best that way, but it does look like a ramjet, doesn't it? Nice. Jet engine. Um, hey, Eric. I didn't see you slip in. Oh, you slipped in right after Rob. Got it. So hopefully you caught what I was just saying as to why I'm not out in the Smithy this morning, why we're finishing the Batmobile instead. Had a lot going on. But so yeah. Oh, there we go. That's going to be the jet in the back, I bet you. And we can put away these extra pieces. There are always extra pieces in these Lego kits in case you lose one of the tiny ones along the way. Doo-doo-doo. Left and right. Oops, there. There's the other one. And then littler one. Put some stuff, black stuff in the middle. Separate these to make it easier to find. So how's everybody else doing? I mean, going on about, oh yeah, let me finish the last moments of my dad's life. It was awesome. Um, so he's a real gearhead, like I said. And when he decided to change from being sheet metalist, he preceded that by like getting into the tech stuff that was happening at the time. It was starting up. And and he brought home the HP programmable, reverse Polish notation calculator. Got to play with that a lot. I loved working with that notation just because it was something new to learn. And I'll share what is pretty obvious to everybody else, but wasn't to me at the time. Even 20 years later, it wasn't obvious to me. But I'd said to him, Dad, when you brought home that calculator, when you brought home the next thing you brought home was a Timex Sinclair 1000, which we programmed every um, uh, basic program that I could find at the time into it, and was um, it didn't have a sound chip, but somebody out there had realized that if you futz around with the tuner on the TV, which kids today don't even know what that means, you could get it to um, get the video out of tune, but it would allow you to then do uh, send video signals that would cause audio output. Pretty cool. And so there was that he brought home, and I just asked him, how did you know when you brought all that home I'd be so interested in computers? And all he said was, Jack, you were interested in everything. And it's probably still true today. Um, but yeah, at that point, he decided to cross train into forward air command. And we started pounding the pavement with, the ground pounders out there. He was Air Force. He'd call in the strikes, that was what his job was. But in the meantime, that also meant he got to start playing. He was playing, and he'd already been playing with CB for a while, and then Ham became a fun thing to play with. And then we got a Coleco Atom, and that was fun to play with. And I mean, just round and round like that. Always new tech, always fun stuff like that. And then when he retired, he went into business with another gentleman with a new and used computer shop. Now, see, why couldn't they do that more for me? Is I wouldn't have to put on the stickers on so many things. Anyway, um, and I played with every 8-bit, 16-bit computer that existed at that time. Thanks to that, it really got me kickstarted in my career. Um, and Then from there, he ended up that shop ended up closing down as the gateways of the world started really kicking in. Gateway and Dell and et cetera, et cetera. And they just stopped being as competitive with building their own white boxes. And so then my father decided, well, instead of trying to build and compete that way, he'll just do computer repair. So he did computer repair out of his shop. Well, he had asked me while I was visiting him that a couple months back if I had brought my VR, and unfortunately had not. So he asked my sister to bring her VR. Well, sadly, hers broke uh, just before they could get down to visit. But this time, she came down to be basically a hospice nurse for him, but better than the hospice nurses because the hospice nurses barely attended to him. And he asked her if he uh, brought it this time. He didn't. When he asked last time, she didn't tell him it was broken. So she went out and bought the latest version of the MetaQuest 3. Cool, Rob. Um, and so she went out and bought the MetaQuest 3. And his last day, the last good day, he um, he played on that MetaQuest 3. He put that on. He was in his hospital bed, that they'd brought it that hospice had brought into his home. And he's sitting there. I've got video of him looking at um, the app that uh, the game that you can get for it that shows off how well it works in AR. Hey, Jeremy. And yeah, you can tell I'm not out in the shop. I realized I didn't get all the things I needed to get done to make it possible to get out there today after getting back from Dad's. Um, so instead, I'm finishing up my Batmobile. Um, but yeah, he's sitting there with the VR headset on in AR mode, watching the aliens. The spaceship landed on his feet on the bed, and he's shooting the aliens and seeing the world, his home, because you can see your home in that start to get destroyed by trying to blast at the aliens, and you start to see the outer space out there. He was having a lot of fun with that. And then on top of that, my uh, cousin and her wife came down, and her mother had arranged for her to pick up this cute little puppy who had just been neutered, so it was still a little bit, probably, still a little bit um, drugged from the operation, and brought him to my dad. My dad loved dogs. He normally liked medium to large sized dogs, boxers being his favorite, as his parents and his parents were uh, breeders and showers of boxers, and so he always had a boxer in his life until he met my mother. Um, Whole different story. She preferred the Pekingese, but they had this cute little puppy, and it was so uh, quiet, sitting on his belly and lap in the bed, and he's just sitting there watching TV, petting the puppy. And that was my father. He loved playing with tech. He loved his dogs. At this point, um, if there is a heaven, um, there can be no God that does not allow dogs to be there to greet their owners, their caretakers in life. So I firmly believe that, you know, if there is a God, my dad got to see all the dogs he ever loved in his life. And so there you go. That was my dad's last day, and it was wonderful. All right. We take four of these and put them on each of the axles. Let's see if we can do this without breaking it apart while I'm at it. There's one. I'm gonna leave it offset from the body because I don't think rubbing the body is a good idea. I don't really need to worry about that. Okay. Turn it around here so you guys can see this major operation. There's two. Haven't knocked anything else off of this thing yet, so fingers crossed we can get this done without breaking it. Three and four. Now we're to build the wheels. That's not a surprise. Wheels and tires. Tires go round and round. Get on there. Hardest part about this part of the build is getting them on without pushing them too far through. There we go. And there's that one. Come on. There we go. The world is calling. Be well, Kevin. Have a great week. Make sure not to push it through. Good. This one's pushing through a little bit. So there we go. Good, good. One more. There we go. Four done. Next step. Ah, and that's why it goes this way. We should pop those on. Before we flip it over, we build the hubs. Hub one. Let's go ahead and just slide it on. I think they're going to just go round and round when I'm turning it, right? Yep. Nope, they'll stay still. Good. Well, maybe. We'll see. Nope, they turn. Okay. That's what I needed to know. That means I can put the bats on first, then put the hub on. Oh my gosh. They did pretty well keeping to the authenticity of the show's um, car build. They got this car for the show for like a steal. I mean, when I say a steal, I mean really it was a modified 1955 Lincoln Futura. Uh, let's see. Said here, I'm pretty sure how much they got it for. It was ridiculously cheap. There it is. They got it from the Ford Motor Company for just $1. It was a concept car for $1. Can you imagine? All right. And now I think we put on a whole bunch of round things. Let me see if I'm right about that. Nope, not yet. First, need this. I need to do it twice. Yeah, my wife is calling, folks. Let me step away for a minute. All right, I'm back. So I got a couple of these, and then somehow I'm supposed to put them on underneath the fronts of this. Let's pick it up. What are we doing? Yep, there we go. That's incredible. I didn't realize that I had put on a piece that was upside down like that under there. Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot to point out that it also has gas emitters here. Let's see. Come on, get in the right place. And I can't see that now. It's okay, you can't see that now either. That's worse. That's pretty much where I want it. Gas emitters. So not only do we have bat rays up here, nope, where there, bat rays up here, but gas emitters underneath. So much fun. They did a pretty darn good job of trying to stay authentic to the show. And of course, this rotates on purpose because it's the radar. And that has the front end done. Turn the page, or does it? Or it just shows me where it was. Okay. Oh, neat. There's a lot more going on with this front end now. I see it coming. Just so cool. These guys and gals who create these things. And we got a gray one of, where'd I put it? There it is. One of these. And do the same thing except opposite. One of these. Yep. And then flip it over, tuck it on over here. Nope, not there. Yes, there. What am I saying? Ow. That doesn't seem right. Did I do it wrong? No, that's the place. Oh, I'm just doing it wrong. Okay. I'm doing it wrong. This goes over here. That's better. As soon as I figure out how to slide it in there, right? There it is. Like that. And now we're starting to get that red grill going all the way around. Feels like I left out something. What'd I leave out? Mhm. I didn't leave anything out. There's just another step. We have this. Like that. This. Like that. Do the same thing over here. Yep, yep. And then it flips over. Make sure I get it right. That and like that. Where does that go? Like that. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And now you've got the smooth up here, smooth down here, the grill all the way around. Oh, did I snap it in place right? Doesn't feel like it's in where it needs to be. Let me just pick it up and look at it. Oh no, it's where it needs to be. The alignment is just, there we go. That's more like it. Ta-da! That's fun. Now we're going to the back side again. We got to put that license plate on. 2F3567, Gotham City. That's funny to me. I was working yesterday on this in the evening without the benefit of these side lights that I've got here. And I'll tell you what, these lights make a huge difference in my eyes. All right, so that's that. Now how the hell does that go on? Oh, I see. It goes below. It goes below down here. That's funny to me. Nail spreaders. All right. Yep, I knew that this was coming in here soon. Ah, This is how they're doing it. This is how they do it. Wait, right there. And then we take this and this there, slide it on. I was wondering how they were going to bring in the jet engine. Then we just slide this on. Yep. It's just another wheel hub is what it is, but we're going to turn it away from the wheel part. Slide that in there, or I should say the spokes. Then we take this, slide it. It's not clear if I'm supposed to push it far on, or is it just barely on? There we go. It doesn't have a choice. It doesn't go any further than that. All right. Ah, yes, this is what I thought. Now we're going to do the rails on the bottom of the car. We're just about done. Four, five, 6, short one, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I love the fact you guys are hanging out with me here, even though it isn't blacksmithing. And I went on about my father. All right, so where this is going now is, if you look right here, we have all this, and we want to cover up this supporting information things here. So we just come in here. Come on. Slide that right into place. Look at that. Looks like a finished work right there, doesn't it? Nice and smooth. We'll go around and do the same to the other side, I'm sure. Yep. Next week, I do intend to be back out in the shop, though it may be the following week. I'm still torn on this trying to get out weekly thing again, because the wonderful folks at Blacksmith Church, Alexis being here now, can comment. I've not been able to tell if I'm stepping on their toes. I'm trying to get out there after them, but occasionally it just seems like that's just not how it's working out. That their show ends up running longer, and I don't need to try and compete with them. It's not the goal. The goal was just to have some blacksmithing going on. Give me a commitment device to get me out there doing it. Something I kind of need sometimes, or else I'll let things go. There we go. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do about all that yet. There's a part of me that says stop trying to do it on Sundays, but I'd then have to negotiate with my bride as to whether or not Saturdays would be a okay day to do it. or if there's a specific reason she prefers to Saturdays to be left for other things. There's that and that. And then back here, get back where you belong. There you go. There's supposed to be a hook. Ah, yes, there it is. Of course, I think I need to put it on the other way. Yep, that way. Yep, there we go. I forgot they had a CB antenna on the back of their car. A little one. The brick piece. This is a neat one. So these seats in the car are really a marvel to me. If you look, they actually look like they're upholstered. And that's because they use the same brick as I have in my hand, except they're black. And I'll show you that brick. On one side, it's got a line running down its center, lengthwise. On the other side is bricks. So it could be used for building a brick house or apparently upholstery. So this time they want me to put the bricks to the outside, this in the corner, and bricks to the outside. I don't think I did that right. I did not. Let's try that again. Bricks to the outside, neat piece in the corner, bricks to the outside. That's better. Got to be smarter than the brick, Jack. Then we put on some of these smooth squares. Smooth square. This doesn't mean anything to me yet. I've got the smooth square on there. I'm supposed to put the bigger piece on top of that. Okay. Then this piece here, another smooth piece here. And then this piece diagonally, which is an unusual move. All right, now what? Then from there, I put this piece on there. This is getting out of hand. All these weird things going on here. All right, and then this snaps on here, like so, except that's not the right way. Can't be the right way. It doesn't look right. I'm going to take it back off. Except it really doesn't work any other. Okay, it could work that way. Yeah, that's better. No, that's not better. Is it better? Yes, it's better. Okay, that way. Is it though? Is it better? I don't like it. All the way over. Yeah, that looks better. All the way over. As I have no idea what it is I'm building right this second, I don't know which is the right way. Doesn't look right that way. Put this back on this way. Yeah, that looks more like, I think, what the rest of the picture looks like. Some sort of weird flying thing it looks like. Oh, no, okay, I think I know what this is. This is him standing up with a gargoyle. Got it. That's wild. Uh, how does this stay on there? Oh, neat. Look at that little gargoyle. And why? Because Batman. Oh, I see. In this universe, Batman's right-handed. Put that there. Batman will stand here, getting ready to take on the crime he sees in the city. Minifigs! Even though this car is definitely not minifig size. I was wondering about that. All right. Then we'll grab this, flip her down like that, put this on the back end. Come on. There's that and that. So it can sit like that. And then one last thing. Oh, this is a massive sticker. I'm still going to use the tweezers. Let's see if I can make this work. It feels like I should use two tweezers. No, 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 don't stick yet. Don't stick yet. I swear. Maybe I won't use tweezers. Okay, that will do the trick. There it is. Of course, I should have probably put some spray under it so that I could push out the bubbles. Most stickers don't need that, but this one might have. Oh well. All the extra pieces there. That is the Batmobile. There we go. It is done. Let's see, did we get the focus the way it should be? Yep, almost. There we go. Ah, done deal. I know you guys do. Um, this isn't a commentary on you. It's more of a comment on how do I make it so that you guys don't feel rushed, that I'm not causing you guys undue stress, that you can have the best show you can have without, having to be concerned about me coming in late. or I mean, coming in at the same time as your show is starting up. Sorry, as the same time as your show is trying to wrap up. Um, yeah, sorry. Get my brain to work. So, and now for some bat coffee. I don't think there's any such thing as an unfun build for Lego, but this one's especially fun because, you know, this was my childhood, right? I don't know about everybody else, but it was mine. This is so much about what got me started loving Batman. I love the fact they got the jet intake, uh, the jet engine on the back, so many of the gadgets, fun gadgets. The trunk that opens to show the portable or the mobile crime computer. The fact that they even include inside a Batman fire extinguisher. Let's see if I can get an angle that shows that. Uh, right there. Batman fire extinguisher, you know, just in case somebody lobs a bomb at them and they need to get out and spray each other off. Yes, the Bugatti is absolutely beautiful. It's definitely one on my list. Just so many fun things. The lights on top, the exhaust out the back like that. Just a fun build. Fun build. I get to take it downstairs and put it in my display case. The seats that look like they're actually upholstered. Oh, there's a bat phone in there. I don't think I can get an angle that shows. Oh, there it is. Bat phone. That's just so many fun little nuances. The fact that the steering wheel has the speedometer on it. Yeah, let's see if I can get that in there. There it is. Steering wheel with the speedometer on it. Gear shifter. There's also a where did it go? There's a emergency. There's the gear stick. There's the emergency brake. Just a bunch of fun things that, unless you were building it, you might not even see it. There's a radio. Little what do they call those with the slide open tops like you see on some desks for their glove boxes. Lots of cute little things here. That's I have. It's not my only Lego just sitting here waiting for me to build either. I also have, and for some reason they all think I must like Batman. You can tell it's been here a minute. It's got dust all over it. I also have this mural. Let me pull back out so you can see it. I got that mural to build of Gotham City. And then I have a completely different thing that's so cool too. And it's ginormous. I have people who love me and make sure I get very cool things to build. So, if I'm understanding correctly, this one also has a Batmobile. Yep, there it is. I'll turn it around. So it closes up to be a shadow box. But you turn it around and you can see what all involves. And that is, a bunch of components of the Batcave, including another Batmobile. I think this is the um, I think this is the uh Jack, let's see. It says Max Schreck, Alfred. Okay, so the Batman doesn't have nipples, so I'm pretty sure that this is the one with um we're not talking freeze. Oh, I wish I could remember which one's which. The logo probably would give it all away. But yeah, this I think this is the one that is oh, why can't I think of the actor's name now? From the he got his start on a TV series based in a hospital, I think. I just can't think of his name now. All of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I think that's what this Batmobile made it is based on. I mean, and therefore the Batcave to go with it. But I could be wrong. I don't try to keep up. I just enjoy it as it's out. I think this is the next one I'm going to build. Probably not on camera though. This one is over 4,000 pieces. The mural, and I think it's actually allows for multiple murals, but I'm not sure. Let me pull it back up here. See, and this one is only just under 4,000 pieces. So this one here comes with Catwoman and Batman and Harley Quinn, and a little different version of the gargoyles. Similar, but different. But pretty sure this is the cartoon based one because it has all of the blimps um, in the air. So, and I can't say that I quite understand what all the features of this one is, but it looks cool. So, police blimps is very much the cartoon style of things. Which honestly, if DC would just, stick to the cartoons or figure out who's writing the stories for the cartoons and get them to write the live actions, they'd do better with their live actions than they've currently done. Ugh. Clooney, thank you. Except not nipples, Clooney. So, what I can say about Batman standing on a gargoyle, you're absolutely right. I don't know that I remember it ever in the 1960s show, but the idea everybody thinks Batman is always standing up on the edge of any of the Gothic um, Gothic buildings, and so Gothic and gargoyles always seem to go hand in hand for those who think of Gothic. So yeah, I don't think that it necessarily works for this one, but let's bring this back out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a little comparative study because this is fun and I don't have anything else to do for the next few minutes. We'll go down here. We will. There we go. And we'll make that work just a little bit better. It's just not going to handle the fineness of that. Oh well. All right, that's as good as that'll get. Now, looking at these, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to represent the 1950s Batmobile. We definitely have the same exhaust going on in here. We've definitely got the same kind of cockpit going on, and in here they just built into the cockpit the lights, the stems where the lights are here, and the center one, but it doesn't look quite the same. Let's see. On the front, you don't see any kind of indication that there was. Well, you get the little hood bump here. Yeah, you get a tiny little hood bump here, just like this one does with the red stripe going down. And then in the back, you get the two parachutes and the jet engine. So they did pretty well with the little Hot Wheel, or is it a Hot Wheel? Yeah, it's a Hot Wheel. They did pretty well with the little Hot Wheel, and they did pretty well with the bigger Lego. Let's see, yeah, including the fact that on the Hot Wheel, you've got a trim part here that goes all the way down the whole line right here. They just didn't paint it, and then that it recedes back under again. They just put the paint on differently. Their lines for the paint is just completely different. And honestly, I'd have to go back and look at the show to see which is the more accurate paint job. And knowing that, there might have been multiple paint jobs too, because there have definitely been multiple Batmobiles. So it's pretty good, pretty faithful in both cases. They didn't put the radio antenna on this one. Obviously, it would have probably just snapped off. But now I have yet another Batmobile to go into my collection. Pure silliness for a 56-year-old, but you know what? You got to enjoy life. And you don't listen to the haters. And you learn. You keep learning. If you don't keep learning, you might as well be dying. Oh, yeah, and they didn't have the radar on front either. So let's see inside. What do we got inside on this little thing? You do get the gear stick. Um, you do get the radar screen. That's really interesting that they went to that level. You do get um, the compass. You got radar screen on this side and a compass on this side. The gear stick. You might even have a bat phone in there. That's hilarious that they kept to that level of authenticity on such a tiny little die-cast toy. Take care of Alexis. Catch y'all next week. So, there we do it. That's all wrapped up. We got ourselves a Batmobile. I need to go find space in my display cabinet for it now. All right, everybody. I love you for stopping in and hanging out with me. Pretty awesome. Even though I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do, I'm not blacksmithing, but we'll see if we can get back into the blacksmithing next week. I got to work on this computer to make it so that it actually has my themes back again, and get out to my smithy and make sure that the wasps, the hornets, haven't taken it over, and then light a fire. And if you can get out there and light a fire, get out there and do it. And we'll just call this one a wrap. And until next week, I'll put out the same challenges I put out every week. If you didn't catch the beginning of or middle of the show, come back and and watch that, and you'll see where that challenge sometimes can stem from. And and that challenge is, you know, be a light in the world and spread love, love and light.